Yeah. Tread softly, and then your voice will be heard as you respect each moment of your life. How one day you'll leave footprints where others would admire and speak so kindly of. Your life may be short, but the memory of who you are will live beyond your days under your sun. Some may have their names immortalized in ink. Others may have immortalized in stone. But the actions that you take at this moment will help shape the world and allow it to continue. When your hands have no strength, your voice may be silent. As you hand the candle light to another, they will continue the journey of progression, where you yourself have inherited the earth. You'll then bequeath it to another to make sure the world in which you love, which we respect, will remain strong forevermore. The world in which you love is the stone that the soul must step upon in its journey back to perfection. Perfection in a way that all life respects one another. Perfection in a way that war does not enter our world. Hatred is merely the emotion that casts a very deep shadow upon the earth. We ask with respect to all of you to live a spiritual life with a spiritual heart, with a spiritual mind, that your hands will be soft, but strong enough to support one another. As our hands move through you, our words may be deafened by the steps of another. But don't allow ego or self-importance make your steps louder than your voice. As remember, we all have ways of expressing love. All of us have a way of respecting one another. But congregate together in the spirit of life with the warmth of love. So many people, once again we address, where there has been division, must be the celebration of coming together. The drop of rain that falls so mightily to the earth, when it kisses the ground, it may separate and then come together once again. Throughout your life, those who seem close continue to move upon a path that is different to yours. Those who were close that you call friend now may be a distant memory, living within your minds and being in that place where one day you'll come together in the fellowship of the Spirit. You could attain heaven upon earth. You could attain much whilst you bathe in the warmth of your sun. But do not spend or waste your time burying yourself in division, negativity, fear or doubts, but accept life in all its multiple forms of expression. There has been a light born to your earth that has brought so many together at this time. You will judge over the coming days, weeks, and years of how someone will leave an impact within your world. But the heads of states who claim to speak on behalf of the many must find the wisdom to unite together. And if all of them come together in the commonality that they speak on behalf of the masses, so many in your world at this time has come together with a more spiritual mind as you have rested over the days that have passed. Stripping bare your routines, stripping bare your rituals, and now you will face a new dawn with new expectations of love. Our prayer has always been that you find the inner peace, learn to love with no wants to receive back in kindness, but to love because it is your nature to give. If each of you give to another, like a gentle candle that is brought together, the mighty flame will then illuminate your world and all other distractions, as you do not need the light of the candle to find the light of the sun, for all distractions to be extinguished, for you to fix firmly upon the horizon of the burning dawn of your new beginning. Many words have been shared by my world and have now fallen into history. Some of you are reminding yourselves of previous conversations, bringing the past back to life. Each of you who are present, who may be suffering at this time, think of those who claim to know you, who now live firmly in the golden shores of our world. Think of them now and allow the past to live again. I have reminded many of you. For you to claim the title of dead means that you have been forgotten. But if each of you at this moment think of us in the spirit of love, it reminds you that the greatest binds that hold all of us together is the threads of love. Even the most fragile thread can hold so much. The gentle silk spun by a spider can hold its weight and more, bringing a creation together from the imagination into the reality, that each of you are a strand of silk bound to hold one another. What gentle creator had a moment of vision that caused such beauty in your world? You may stare at the web and see beauty, and others will be consumed in it, distracted and blinded by a false faith that was created by the minds of men. But the gentle love that we have will only enrich your life and the lives of others. If I am to place within your gentle hands a tool for you to express yourself. How would you express yourself? As an innocent mind takes a piece of wood and make it into the flute, and from that creation, an orchestra of sound. The bravest stand alone, the wisest will stand together, united in the sympathy of sounds that play to the hearts of the masses. As we lay before you these words, how do one devour them? If they are seeds, should they be planted or held as a memory, held as a secret of not knowing what will come? Even the most gentle seed that over time can grow to make the deepest shadow for others to stand and admire the beauty, or protect themselves weathering the storm that may blow. From the simple thought that you have now, many things can come. Neither do my words, neither do my companions ever try to stump out that thought. If it is dipped in love, may it grow. If it's dipped in negativity, may the wisdom be given, so it can be devoured before the beast is made. Let us come together in the fellowship of love. Let us come together in the wisdom that we share with one another, as our world will continuously learn from you, as you are our teachers, and we are the humble students, sharing with you what we have learned, so that we remind you what you already know, that death is not the end. So many of you have congregated with your own personal reasons and expectation. Some of you have joined here to hear the whispering thoughts of an old friend. Some have joined here in hope of having the gratification that life is everlasting. But you have all assembled here as your souls unfold to the understanding of eternity. Your minds will unfold to set in motion the light that devours the darkness of your world. Sandra, my friend, I trust that you are well.
I am very well. Thank you so much, Eric.
That is so pleasing to hear. Darren, my friend, I trust that you are well.
I'm very well, thank you, Eric.
Oh, very good indeed. As I have sufficient hold upon his mind, let us proceed in the usual manner.
Very good. We have Mike here with us, and let me see if I can get Mike to press his unmute button. Hello, Mike, try that one more time. There we go. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello, my friend. I trust that you are well.
I'm as well as can be expected. Thank you, Eric. The question, Eric. Have you any words of comfort for parents who have lost children by suicide? All too often, these young souls seem to have made a very rash decision, leaving the grieving with no answers.
Well, my friend, may I say this to you? No matter how someone comes to our side of life, they will be met by love. You have used kind words in your expression of this enigma of question. And I say this to you, the young soul, the soul has not made that decision. It is the mind that has created the condition. And therefore, has caused the transition from your world into ours, as no one is ever lost, my friend. The only thing that is lost is the opportunity to know one another for longer, to share love and comfort wherever it is required. There are things in your world that will never be answered while you draw breath. In our world, you may seek out that answer, but it is not a requirement now. Many people who come to our side of life, no matter how they come over, want to remind everyone how much they mean and how much you mean to them. And they didn't realize how much they were loved until that act has taken. And of course, the outcome is that they have arrived within our world. So many people have opinions regarding the outcome of that act. And so many religions should have their knuckles rapped because they have not given the sufficient counsel or denied the grieving heart at its deepest moment. We pray for them to have the wisdom to share and say that God will not punish. God will always love, because love is the embodiment of God. Of course, there may have been signs throughout life that someone is making that decision. And a parent or a friend or a mentor may say, if only I intervened. If their mind is at will, no matter what or how you would approach it, the outcome would probably be the same. If I could say this to you, in my learned opinion, as I have observed the festival of celebration when someone comes to our side of life, the grieving mind that has caused the reaction, that is now a settled mind. They have a new passion, and that is to remind their family how much they mean to them. Sadly, your world still finds it difficult to connect with our reality, and therefore things remain a mystery. Visions may be blinded, so you cannot see your loved ones from our side of life, but we can see you. Does that bring you any comfort? To know that you are loved and held by the invisible hands that will never feel pain again. This time that is coming, and this time that has been shared, still the outcome will be the same. There will still be many souls in your world that will choose to end their existence. But there will still be many souls of your world that come to the end of their existence because of illness. There will be many souls that will come to our side of life that have had their existence ended by the hand of another. And so on and so forth. But your world is finding the wisdom that death is not the end, neither is it the answer to the situation. There are more people starting to speak about confusion of mind that may be caused through depression, fear, rejection. All these things are starting to be addressed because so many in my world now want you to live as long as possible so that you feel the deep impact of love. As we remind all of you, you are never alone. Of course, my friends, if you could, And if I could speak to God, however you see God to be, I would ask a humble thing. Grant all the wisdom, but also grant all the capability to hear our world. On the darkest night, when one is feeling so alone, our world is smothering them with love, saying you are not alone. We have lived a life and we've lived it well, and you have so much to give to this world. Please don't do it from our side of life. Stay, feel the warmth, hear the birds for the first time, singing a song for you. God has not answered me my prayer, but it doesn't stop me still asking and wishing it for humanity. But my friends, as we have seen, something that was born to your world which should have benefit can be abused, that causes disharmony within the mind, that sadly can result in the extinguishing of the physical life and the igniting of the spiritual life. We want both flames to burn as bright and as long as we can. But in answer to your question, to a parent, our deepest love, our deepest support is for you, as those who have migrated to our world now live strong, confusion washed away, suffering put to bed. And now they can see clearly, experience the richness of life, and never again feel the pinch of the suffering of your world. It is easy for me to say these individuals were too good for you, and now they live in our world, which then will give a story for everyone to be bad and stay as long as possible. Your precious people have come to our side of life as time is a thief, time is a villain that steals away life and experience. But in our world, time does not exist. Time is not welcome. Time still has confusion in your world, but clarity to us. We are no longer a slave to it. But may I say this to you, as you raise it in your inquiry, no one is lost. To lose someone shows you be very careless. No one is ever lost. But sadly, the person who is left behind will feel the loss, as their soul does not feel the complete anymore. But I say this, and I say this with caution, that when a parent comes to the end of their journey, they will be reunited. Questions will be addressed if it is a requirement. But all questions will fade when you see the beautiful face of the one you love. All concerns will wash away as you embrace one another, and you will never let go of one another ever again. Your hands will be strong, the love will be deep, and you will walk in the endless sunshine of our world, back into the bosom of eternity. Would that support anyone who's experiencing its first night? No, it will not. But the support of one another that comes together in wisdom will hopefully give the oxygen For a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, the strength to take a deep breath in and realize that love is endless. If that is pleasing for you, my dear boy, and I thank you for your warmth, as everyone, no matter what age, would have known a story or a life that has walked that path. And I hope that these words have given the breath the opportunity to blow away the dust of ignorance, that no one is punished. The sad thing is the punishment is because people are left here in earth. And they think or feel that their child is no more. If you would allow me, as I have watched on numerous occasions, many young minds that have come to our side of life now work with children in our world, but also work to help others in your world that may be retracing the steps of others or walking a similar path, who may be bullied, outcast. These dear people will stand with them, saying that I will give you the strength and I will remind you that you are loved. If that is pleasing for you, my dear boy, let us move along.
Thank you, Eric. Beautiful words.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Eric. And
They may be beautiful, but they must have strength. We can wrap our words in pretty paper, my friend, but it will devalue the message that we bring. But once again, I say to you, through the generosity of your kindness, you have set in motion the healing balm for others who have experienced but haven't had the opportunity to express it fully with our world. So thank you, my dear boy. You are truly the healer in your world.
Thank you. We move on to Ashley right now. Hello, Ashley.
Hi.
Hello, my dear. I trust that you are well.
Thank you. I had a couple of questions. They're interrelated. Do our deceased loved ones understand and kind of hear our thoughts and hearts, even if we don't get signs back from them?
Oh, of course, my friend. Draw a breath, first of all. Allow the nerves to settle while I address this for you. If I had the strength, of course, I will cradle your face and remind you that your loved ones are not deceased. They are more alive than ever could imagine. They hear your thoughts. They express their love in your memories. For you to sit still and be reminded by a sweet sound that brings them back to life, and they are there. If you are to sit and watch the gentle rain fall, and you reminisce on days gone by, they are there, reminding you that you are loved. Please, for one moment, do not think of us as dead. See us alive, because we will remind you of that when we have strength. Even the animals that you love, they still walk in our world, and they will still run towards you when it is your time to be reunited. Now I must beg for your forgiveness, my dear. I was very rude to you. I should never stop anyone, especially a young lady, in mid-flow of inquiry. But I felt it was important just to settle and satisfy your appetite at that moment. Now, my friend, let's move to the main course of your question.
Are they a constant or only occasional witness to our lives on earth? Do they miss and love us as we do them? Do they feel regret or remorse for actions that took place while they were living? And can they touch or influence us physically?
Oh, yes, my friend. But sadly, sometimes the influence comes when you sleep. So when you dream, and dream you will, they walk freely within your dreams. But to understand you have your physical dream, then you have your spiritual dream. The physical dream is what you remember. The spiritual dream is what you don't remember. What you don't remember is that you stand firmly at the edges of our world, talking, cradling, sharing experiences with those who you love. If someone has caused something that has caused injury to you, that thought is taken away from them, so they may not feel a regret, but they will feel the zest to try to improve themselves. And therefore they become more spiritual minded. But to understand this, if there is a situation that has caused division, and neither one or one does not wish to meet, then you will not meet in our world in the state of familiarity. You may meet as you progress into the greater world of spirit, when you have been given and attained the knowledge, and therefore you will not judge in a human emotion with a human reaction. We say there is no time, but I have to say to you, time can also heal. In our world, the separation is only a brief moment. In your world, you are punished by years. So for us to mourn is merely a brief separation, because we can see you. We get sometimes passionate, and I think passionate is a correct term, when we are trying to speak with you, to wipe away the tears that you may be experiencing. But we will never become frustrated with you. Neither would we cause any injury to you. And that is why, if you are punishing yourself with thoughts and memories, it is merely the bilge of your mind and your experience, not how they feel about you now. It is sad affair when the entirety of someone's life is masked by the moment of their death. Because when one thinks of them, all they can see is the last moment of them here on earth, or their imagination becomes the villain that punished you. We who stand for you, we who love you, want you to have only happiness. We want you to have the biggest smiles in your world. There will be times, my friends, that you will feel the pinch and the sorrow, but we will sing sweetly. We will stand and hold you tightly. We will dance slowly with you. We will brush your hair, cradle you in our arms while you sleep. And the spiritual mind will know this. I just pray once again that if I could give you the gift of sight, it is yours. If I could give you the gift of sound, it is yours. but time will only free you. Time will only be the revealer of the truth. Now, my friends, there are certain people that may have caused injury to you. Back when you were younger, back until this moment. If they are someone who you do not want to meet, you will not meet them. There'll be others who love you more deeply, who will push themselves to the front. Those individuals will continue their journey as you continue your journey in many arms into the great realities of our world. Tears may have fallen at this moment, my dear, but if they are to slip through our fingers, may rainbows be created. A rainbow of love, made of many colors that have come together to celebrate who you are and the families that you represent here this day. When you sleep tonight, my dear, may it be a peaceful sleep. And when you wake in the morn, may a new moment give you the strength to face this new day with the confident knowledge that all who you have loved live and stand with you. And if you need reminding, my dear, think of me and I will be there, not as a spectre, not as a phantom or a ghost. I am a spirit. I am real. I have touched the earth, and I will live in your mind if you allow me. Thank you, my dear. Is there any more to your inquiry? Or would you like this moment just to draw breath? And if it does arise again, come back and speak with me.
Thank you.
Eric, Ashley did have one last question, and I think other people have the same question. So Ashley, I'd just like to ask on her behalf. Ashley says, my partner and baby died recently. I talk to them aloud every day, but never hear anything back. Will we be reunited as a family? And if you could talk a little bit about children.
Of course, my friend. And if it is so your wish, children in our world will continue their education. They will continue to be children and learn and express themselves in a land there is no hatred. There is nothing that will cause them any pain. There is nothing that will rip them away from you. Children in our world will bounce when they fall. Children will roar with laughter as they continue to play in the sands of our world. Your husband will enjoy and keep very strong within the memory of all that he has seen, so that when you come to our side of life, you will share in each moment. If you are to live for many years, and that is what I wish for you, your child will grow within our world, but when you come to our side of life, you will see the child and instantly recognize. And if you feel that you have missed out in progression, you will see and experience it once again. You'll know what your child thinks, and your child will think and know what you have. Children in our world is truly a gift, but then we are reminded for us to have smiles as we look upon this child. Your world has suffered in tears. So if this is a strong reminder to us, we will make sure, and I say this with sternness and fulfillment, that a child will never feel a suffering in our world. There's too many of us who love them. But there is only one who can ever claim them to be their own, and that is yours. The sadness is, my friend, that once again, I pray that you are given the gift of sight. But thank you once again that you have set in motion the healing balm for many who are joined. I'm reminded of songs you know, from a singer called Jim Morrison. I believe this is after my time, and maybe before some of yours. When we are strangers, faces around us. And I listened to that song. Are we truly strangers? Or have we known one another before? Love will always outlive the physical death. Take my deepest regards and warmth of love, my friend. And in your dreams, stay with us for a little long and allow us to show you how we can build sand castles and nothing can break it and nothing can destroy it. Get lost in our world, but then find the strength to come back to yours. You are loved, my friend, before and always. If it is so your wish, let us continue.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Ashley. Hello, Sean. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Hello, my friend. I trust that you are well.
I'm really well. Thank you for asking.
What is
Shall
your
I ask my
question?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. Well, I wanted to ask if you could share your thoughts, please, Eric, on healing, but specifically for using sound in healing, and whether there's any. So whether there's any sort of recommendations, or what your thoughts are really on how we can harness using sound vibrations to get a kind of a direct link into the healing energies of your world, and how we can channel that to people that we're trying to help here on Earth.
Oh, yes, my friend. Well, you must understand everything under your sun, including your Earth and including the other planets, have a frequency. Frequency can reverberate as sound. It is only when air is then stimulated by that frequency is when one perceives it. But to understand that frequency can affect water, the body itself is composed of much water. And therefore, if one can stimulate the frequency of this water, therefore harmony can be created within the healing balm of sound. Now, my friend, I have to say to you, prior to my arrival, there were 3 songs which I have to say the acoustics was appalling, but it brings enjoyment to certain ears. I myself would be more enjoyable with Beethoven or certain songs like that. But of course, the acoustics of the modern world would not be so pleasing for certain generations. So I say this to you, even the sound of a certain beat, or brought together as a collective chaotic sound, may be pleasing to some and punishing to others. And therefore, the sound must be unique to the person that comes for the element. But the person who creates the sound must have a connection to the intuitive of a soul level, but also the openness to the spiritual realm of our world. Illness of your modern day is starting to seem a rapid acceleration due to certain conditions being man-made. And therefore, we must find the frequency to rub out what has been created for the natural rhythm to be restored. Any natural element is where the body itself has found disharmony, and the breakup of vibration of the frequency of sound can bring something that has been brought out of balance back into harmony. Now, of course, my friend, you look upon certain things in your world that need to have modern ways of expressing them, a mouthpiece, if you will. The modern phrase of it, speaker, yeah, a mouthpiece, yeah. Therefore, it has been caused through a sound that has been captured and then recycled. Therefore, it would not have the same effect. If the sound is being created without the need of this speaker and is within the moment, it will have more benefit. I've always said in the conditions of the seance room that the music machine is a poor substitution of the human voice. Therefore, it must be the natural mode of frequency. Now, of course, many people in your world desire to use instruments to assist in healing, like the assistance of crystals would have their own frequency. But you must understand that when a crystal is robbed from the earth, it may have a frequency of shock, and therefore it will cause the memory to enter the person that you may be trying to assist. So one must tread very carefully if one is using crystals which are in shape of bowls, because it has been robbed and then man-made. If you are to look at frequencies of using metal, that will be more of benefit if they are blessed with water, to then use it in the rhythm, that water works in harmony, and therefore you can see how the frequency is going to penetrate the physical form. If the water is chaotic, then it is a frequency of chaotic which is going to enter the being. It must be of the smooth rhythm that will be of benefit to the human form. Of course, there is aggression that must be met with aggression, depending upon the element. The elements that are within the body can be healed if the soul has the patience for it. Now let me extend upon this further for you. If an element has been born, the body itself will find it hard to know something different, and therefore will require great, tremendous efforts from the healer and the assistance of our world and the frequency of yours. If an ailment has been grown into through cause and effect or indulgence, then the body itself knew what it was like before it became in that affliction, and therefore has greater chance of healing itself with assistance of gifted individuals. So when one is practicing, one must tune to the vibration of the recipient and of course the influence of our world. But if it is going to be mechanically made, so if you are doing a moment that has been captured and then replayed afterwards, it will not have the same effect. It must be in the moment, present. Yeah. And therefore the frequency can be addressed, because the frequency, my friend, is ever changing, because you are impressionable to influence of environment, influence of love and support from others or negativity. As so many people in your world still continue to wish someone ill. All of this must be taken into thought. But I have to say, the acoustics without Chopin, indeed, not so pleasing to one's ears. But I have not got a physical form for it to affect. But one does roll eyes when they draw close to hear the chaotic sound of your modern way. But to understand, my friend, if one is to look at sound frequency, it must be not for the masses, for the individual at that moment. If that is pleasing for you.
Is there any way? Oh, sorry, Eric, I interrupted you there.
No, my friend.
Is it just quickly to finish on the point? Is there any way that you can identify what that frequency would be once you're with that person, or is that something that we just have to work out at the time?
Well, once again, you look at water. Water will tell you if you are to put water in a bowl and therefore create sound where water will work in harmony. Then allow the individual to then ingest the water. It will be the right frequency then. But I have to say to you, if one is trying to measure it with a stimulant of equipment, it will not be captured because it is from the soul to a soul, but from the spirit through the soul. You cannot measure that in modern thought. You come close to it, my friends, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
But
Lovely.
what I would advise is for the ingestment of water after you have created harmony with it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's lovely.
Indeed,
really
most
helpful.
welcome,
Thank you so
my
much.
friend.
Thank you, Eric.
Of course, my friend, I can oblige. I, of course, will give it to you.
Oh, so kind.
Thank you very much. And we have our friend Alan. Hello, Alan.
Hi there. Hi,
Hello,
Eric.
my friend. Trust that you are well.
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. So my question is the Earth plane here for a human experience? If yes, why do we have viruses? We see the current virus mutates and changes its structure, which indicates it is proactive in maintaining its effectiveness. Therefore, does a virus have an intelligence, or is it just a living organism? And the last question being, should spiritual healing stop a virus attacking a human body?
Well, my friend, I have to say to you, this certain situation acts as consciousness. If I would allow you to come on your imagination with me, if we look at virus being like a hive, if you kill the queen, the hive will die. And therefore, with the virus, if you can kill the consciousness of it, it will fall to pieces. But like your world, everything under your sun must evolve if it is for its own destruction or its own transformation into something else. The earth plane is a sentient being, a frequency, if you will, of a stepping stone of the progression of the soul that becomes the spirit. In order for its transformation, it must touch the earth. There are circumstances, of course, where children are not touching the earth, not drawing breath, but they will still continue to progress within our world. Their light is slightly different to a child that has drawn breath, but equally met with love and understanding and will continue to progress. The earth itself is struggling to evolve. If we are to look at the virus, a virus is man-made through man's inhumanity to man or man's ignorance to become God on earth. and therefore it will react because it is not a natural order. But as it moves through the physical frequency of your world, it then starts to evolve and grip and react because your bodies have not earned the right to evolve with it. And that is why at the birth of a new situation, there is many of you which will be burned from it. If you look back, years gone by, there has been so many elements that do not exist anymore because your bodies have adapted, have built up resilience to it. And I do not wish to point to any category of your world when I say that your modern affliction is man-made. And therefore, the only thing really that is going to fight it must also be man-made. But it needs to have the wisdom of a sympathetic mind. And I thank God, however you see God to be, light is coming to your world. But if I can say this to you once again, if you look at it as consciousness, it knows it's been attacked, and therefore it is fighting with all its might to hold on to this world because it's been given life, and it fears itself being destroyed. Spiritual healing, spiritual thoughts can be fed to this situation because so far it is fed off of fear and negativity. If all of you could, if you will, sit and have positive thought and say, you have been created and now you have served your purpose. It reminds all that no one is above creation. And therefore we hope and we pray for you that what we see to be the end will come sooner than later. We have said many years before you knew about it, we gave your world the preparation because thought precedes action. People were thinking of how they could create, and sadly has become the abomination that you see. And sadly, it has moved to every known mind under your sun. Anyone who's been able to speak of it. But I say this to you, will your world emerge better? I say you will. Will certain elements that were so rife with you will also see its day end? And therefore humanity will rise like the phoenix from the ashes to a more beautiful way of life. As long as humanity learn and become soft in thinking. Now, I don't want you to think for one moment that a hive is the same as this virus, but it is an expression. The soldiers may die, but the consciousness lives on. But if you go to the conscious state of the queen, the hive will fall to pieces. Everything that you are facing now, you have inherited. And I pray and I thank that you are strong to face it. That is why so many people under your sun are becoming more spiritual aware, even though that they may be spiritual mind, but insanity, they have still got that spark. The spark to say, this is the new world. Let's make it heaven, as it has always been. When you are allowed, my friends, to hold the hand of someone, who would you hold? How tightly will you grip it? How strong will you wrap your arms around another? But when the excitement starts to fade, will you open the door to a stranger? Will you smile and continue to smile even though your face may be covered? If someone slips, will you be there to help them to stand again? Will you let someone stand in front of you because they're in more of a rush than you? Will you be generous of your time? Will you be sympathetic to the tree that may have seemed to be a hindrance, but has now grown stronger? Will you say you have earned the right to live? A garden that may have grown wild and not tamed by the hand of man, will you allow it to continue to express its own beauty? Or will you go out and rip it root and stem and say, I didn't like you? Only you, all of you, will have that answer. But everyone and everything under your sun has the right to life. And because this has been created by man, has it had the right to live so that humanity can be stronger for it? Or is it time to rip it out root and stem? You can always change something with positivity, kindness, and love. You may fall upon your sword, my friends, but at least it is your own sword, not a stranger, enemy, or villain. You have done your best. You have left a light on the most darkest of days. Now, my friend, that may not be what you want to hear, but it's what I have for you. And I hope that it has given you a thought that has allowed other thoughts to grow. For when you sleep this night, in your prayer, you give a little more strength and say, I don't know why you have come like a beast that calls upon the door, but you have served your purpose, and I wish you well. And therefore we do not feed the beast with negativity to make it strong. You feed it with something that is going to change its view, and therefore will find its own peace in your world. If that is pleasing for you, my friend, because time is against me, let us move along.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Do we have time for one more question, Eric?
Of course, my friend, as long as it is not causing your heart to accelerate with worry.
We don't want worry. So we'll make this the last question. Hello, Karen.
Hello, hi Sandra, hi Eric.
Hello, my friend, I trust that you are well.
Yes, thank you. You too, I hope.
Well, of course, my friend, as always.
Eric, I'd like to ask the question, what determines what group you're born into, such as animals, mammals, people, and can soul groups be changed, or is it the process of procreation?
Well, my friend, it's just the zest of life, you know, that if you could express for just one moment with your imagination that the soul has no color or sexuality. The soul has no form. The only form it is given once it has felt the zest of life. Everyone under your sun, and everything, of course, as it has a frequency, then has a color. For when you are born, you may be born into a family that smother you with love, because the color of what is being given to you, of how your soul expresses through physical form, is loved by all. There are children that are born into family where you don't know why, but you may not have the love of your dear mama or father. And that is because the color frequency may not be in harmony with one another. And therefore, you may feel yourself being left on a cold step in the morn, like a milk bottle left to be filled once again. I say this to you all. I don't want you to think for one moment there's elite groups of colors that one must aspire to be in or hope to be born in through privilege. You have been given the right of life, the gift of life, and you have taken it. As you are born, the environment may be different, but we pray that humanity comes together so no child will be left alone. No child will be abused. No child will sleep under the stars cold. No child will go hungry, thirsty, left out by society. But if we can bring all children together, then we are bound. And therefore, their children will be born into love and be bound again, and so on and so forth, and set in motion that all life is sacred. But we have prayed for this for more years than you can count. But still we continue to go to the altar of peace and offer our prayers and strength to all humanity. It is easy for me to say that you are born, but the colors of love don't seem to complement one another, because it's more gentle to say that when a mother says, I did not want you. Sadly, this is a curse of words that were given life that have cut so many to the quick. I pray that none of you hear those words, and if you have heard them, may great healing be given. And for me to say, you are loved by many who desire to have children who were never given the gift of life in your side of life, but they will claim them to be your own when you come to our side of life. But I say this to you, if you knew you were being born into a family where you were going to suffer, why would you choose it? You chose life. You chose life. And we pray that when that gift was given, that it would change the nature of someone else. Sometimes it does, my friends. Sometimes it does not. But so many people have written within their insanity that says that if someone has done bad, they will come back as a lesser being. How can anything be lesser when all have the right to life? Now you may say to me, those little insects that cause great irritants. Why? Everyone has the right for life. Everyone plays their part. When their part is fulfilled, they will not exist in your world no more. So if this little irritant is still existing, it still has a meaning. But may I say this to you? If you are to go to the deepest part of your oceans and pull up a shell, open it up, and you see a pearl. A pearl has come from an irritant. So sometimes an irritant that comes into your life turns you into a pearl, or itself will turn. Either way, you will see the beauty. And if we are to liken you to a diamond, for everyone who touches and chips away, grinds you down, it grinds away the imperfection, but will leave something so beautiful. And its defining moment is a polish that makes you shine. So, my friend, a seed that falls will fall into the dirt, but from the dirt it rises and becomes the most beautiful of rose. The rose is then severed and then given to someone as an act of love. The rose's final gift that it can give anyone is the release of its fragrance upon the earth. But as the rose fades and melts away, they will live again in the memory of that person who has taken that gift. Everything transforms, you know. Everything reminds you of love, if you are there to look at it. For when you sever a rose in your world, another one grows in ours. Constantly we are being showered with tokens of love. Does the rose recoil? It knows, but it has been taken through love, not abused. In our world, my friends, there are great, vast spaces where every color of creation of rose stands and releases its fragrance. And so many people in my world wander through and see the beauty of love, past and present. So, my friends, I say to you, you may fall into the dirt, but you will rise stronger from it. So, my friends, we have been and we have served. May the words that have been shared with you be just a small token of my undying affection for you all. If I could go to the great gardens of our world, I will give you a rose and say its beauty will never die. It will never wither. And therefore, I give this gift to you as your love will be a gentle reminder that our world is the reality and our message is being heard. You cannot die and you will not die. So take the spirit that I give it, take a piece of my everlasting love and make it your own. And you've made me very happy as you represent all your families this day. May they also be blessed with the eternal love. Good day to you, my friends.
Good day, Eric. Thank you very much. Okay. As we wait for Scott to come back, just a few things from my side here. Number one, I know we have a lot of parents with us who have children in the unseen world. There's a great organization called Helping Parents Heal, and you can find out more at helpingparentsheal.org. Lots of free stuff, a big online community, lots of videos, lots of support. So I want to offer that to you. Also, I know we have some friends who are joining us for our mediumship demonstration that will be starting shortly. It will not be this Zoom room. I have sent you an email with a different link to join in. And so we'll open up that when this concludes. Also, if you go to WeDon'tDieRadio.com and click on the store and scroll down, there's bunches of trance demonstrations that we've done this past year. Just use coupon code FREE, let your soul be your guide. And I know we couldn't get to everybody's questions, but there's many more that you can see and enjoy the wisdom from our friend in the unseen world. So I'd like to turn it over to Scott for some closing words, and then we'll turn it over to Darren.
I just want to thank all of you for your generosity and love and allowing me to work on your behalf. I'm keeping it short because I know I'm very conscious that you need to work in a moment. So people who are coming to see a different form of mediumship, I hope you all get a message and may it go to the greatest need. So thank you all, and thank you, Sandra.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Again, echoing what Scott just said, I wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you for allowing, spending your time with us. Life can be hard at times, and we all go through turbulent times, but it's great to know we've got groups like this online. We can talk to each other, we can interact with each other, and there's groups like Simon just mentioned, like Helping Parents Heal. So you're not alone. These troublesome and hard times, just remember you are never alone. There's always someone there to speak to and always someone there to help. But ultimately, we've always got our loved ones in the unseen world, whether they be humans or whether they be animals. So just remember, you're always loved and you're never alone.
Thank you, Darren. And we also have an online community. If you're a Facebook user, you can join We Don't Die Listeners. It's a private Facebook group, and we're there to love and support you as well. You can ask questions there. Also, come February, we'll be starting again our Monday workshops with Scott, and I don't have the details up yet. I'll get them up this weekend, and also I'll have the registration link for next Friday's demonstration. I've just been a little busy, so I don't have all those up yet, but be sure I'll send you an email about them. So I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your love. Remember, the unseen world is chock full of people that love you, and you just can't see them, but they are there. So keep them alive. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Darren. And we'll see you guys next week, if not sooner. Bye for now.